maritime guy.
You look familiar.
I should. I'm your imagination. How did you get in there? Well, it's all done with mirrors. Actually, I'm a pseudo-hologram. But that's not really the point. The trouble is that most technology is done for technology's sake, not for you and me. And it's all happening so quickly. The rate at which technology is evolving is faster than we can cope with biologically. What's interesting about the research being done here is that it's looking 20 years into the future, but making certain that people come first.
What do you mean, biologically?
One thing at a time. You're getting ahead of yourself. Follow me and I'll show you.
The most obvious place to start is the office. In the future, office workers say they'd like to escape the rat's nest of wiring which ties you down to one workspace and clutters up the desk. In other words, they want full communications mobility. The mobile phone is the first step, but how do you manage the same mobility with major hardware like computers, fax machines and printers?
One possible solution is optical wireless transmission, using the infrared portion of the spectrum as a medium for communication. Rather than using cables or radio or microwaves to receive and transmit information, we could use light waves instead. For example, you're now listening to my voice transmitted as pulses of light. To demonstrate how this can work in a highly localized manner without causing interference, just turn your head from the screen you're looking at now across to the one on the left. On peut maintenant recevoir un signal tout à fait différent, par lequel je parle en français. On pourrait évidemment utiliser cette technique pour surveiller diverses sources d'information. Par exemple, un colloque international, un centre de commande technique, à la bourse, ou dans un studio d'actualité.
Let's say you want to relocate your workstation to another part of the office. Simply by moving your computer into a pool of diffused laser light, you become connected to an optical fiber network running through the entire building. Through that, you can transmit and receive information. British Telecom is investing £50 million a year in research that speculates on what the consumers of the future are going to want. And so the BT brain boxes are experimenting with some clever ideas.
Let's say you're a network manager. Your job is to ensure the smooth functioning of the network, maintain an overview of likely trouble spots, and discover ways of making the system work faster and more efficiently. With your desktop window into a 3D virtual world, you can drop in on any part of the system you choose without leaving your office.
Navigating your way through the structure by applying a subtle pressure to the spacebar, you can see the system as a whole from different perspectives, or home in on a specific focal point. And the information itself is accessible, presented, for example, in the form of a pie chart, giving you a quick appraisal of how well that part of your network is functioning.
But what if you find all the graphics impersonal? Even if you can experience a sort of hands-on feeling as you fly the virtual system, they don't necessarily help you to make decisions. The answer could be a family of icons with recognizably human characteristics.
Icons are a simple means of representing a file or a package of information. First of all, meet some shy icons. As you approach them, they shrink or bounce away. Perhaps this is sensitive information that requires careful handling. Then there are the nervous icons. The closer you get, the more they quiver with apprehension, indicating uncertainty about the quality or completeness of the data. These spiky fellows bristle with fortifications on approach. They're defensive icons, and their behaviour acts as a warning. For example, that it's dangerous to remove that file from the hard disk.
Now, I know this sounds a bit offbeat, but have you ever wondered how ants manage to organise themselves?
I mean, they look so incredibly busy and active. And you'd think their behaviour must be amazingly complex, with all that antenna waggling and seemingly endless marching around. The funny thing about ants is that they actually operate according to very simple, very efficient rules, which I'll explain in a moment. But the key point to observe is that you don't need complex entities to deal with complex systems. And the fascinating part of this program is that it demonstrates just that. Ants have negligible intelligence, but very effective software for survival. Typically, there are 4 rules per task. Say for food gathering, if you find food, take it home, marking a trail. If you cross a trail and have no food, follow the trail to the food. If you return home with food, put it down and return up the trail. Otherwise, wander at random looking for food. The idea is elegantly logical. If nature, through millions of years of evolution and natural selection, has developed a neat, simple way to interact with a complex environment, then why not learn from her wisdom and experience? The extraordinary fact is that there is no central planning or control strategy governing ant society, as there is for complex human systems. A single telephone exchange needs at least 1 million computer rules to specify all the tasks, while an ant colony would need just 250 rules for roughly the same number of tasks. BT's suggestion is that free-ranging software agents working like the ants could be the basis for self-organising systems that will prove simpler, cheaper and less prone to failure. So, what did you think about your tour of the future?
Fascinating. Still, there's no guarantee that the forecasts are going to be accurate, is there?
True. I guess that's the $64,000 question. Perhaps it just comes down to the power of your own imagination. Hang on, that's me, isn't it? I'll get back to you.